Welcome back, everyone. It is episode number 55
Woo!
of the ZeroHP podcast. Mason, what is going on, man?
Dude, I'm alive, you know.
You're live? Yeah,
that's it.
That's the standard for this week so far?
Last thing I remember is the last recording we did, and I blacked out, and now I'm here.
Yeah, and then you blacked out, and then you were just fought this skinny little bearded guy.
I did fight a skinny little bearded guy. We jumping into that already?
No,
I'm excited to talk about it.
Got punched in the face a couple times.
I'm a little concussed, man.
Yeah, I mean, we'll definitely. That's going to be the title card on the thing, and that's going to be like, that's the focus of our episode.
Oh yeah,
but we want to.
I got a lot to say about it, man, and I only played like 45 minutes of it, so I'm excited.
What have you been playing this week, though, man? Let's just jump right in. We're not even messing around.
We're not. I don't care how you are. I don't care how your week was.
Yeah, you got shit to do today.
I don't care.
That's okay.
We're jumping in.
I'm not offended by that.
Good. What have you been playing? What have I been playing? I've been playing recently a little game by the name of The Darwin Project.
Oh yes.
What do you think I was going to say? PUBG?
No, I knew you were going to say Darwin Project.
Yeah,
because I was watching you play yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely. Which is an awesome game, especially now that it's free to play. If you're not familiar with it, it was kind of like Microsoft's take on the race to battle royale that we're in right now. It's just a 10-man game, or you can play duos. It's still 10 men, but 5 teams of 2. You're in like you're like inmates in a strange kind of arena, which is kind of the lore behind most battle royale, I feel like.
Right.
Especially the original battle royale, and if you look back at like Hunger Games and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, not a lot of story behind it. You just have a bow and an axe, and you craft, and everything's really quick. If you win a match, you can end it in like 12 minutes, which is perfect. Whoa. Which is great pacing.
Yeah.
The combat's actually a lot of fun. It runs really well because there's not a lot to it. The graphics remind me a lot of Overwatch. It has like a cartoony robot future look to it, which is really cool. And it runs really well, which I know I already mentioned, but that's important to me. No, really fun. If you haven't played it yet, it is free to play on Steam. Go check it out.
It's got some interesting ideas behind it, too, as far as the director, and if it had a bigger audience, it's supposed to have this audience interaction with voting,
exactly, and
supply drops and stuff.
Yeah, and I'd be happy to talk about that for sure. It doesn't have the audience it's supposed to. Right. They did a huge tournament for it a couple months ago, which is actually really cool. They had a lot of big streamers like Lyric and Shroud was there, and a lot of the Tim the Tatman. They were all competing, and it was really cool. And I think that was kind of their push. Their marketing push to get attention, and it still takes like 10 or 15 minutes to fill up a lobby, and again, a lobby is 10 people, so that's a problem for sure.
Yeah, that's really sad.
But the way the game runs is really cool because you have one person. When you queue up for a game, you can choose play solo, play duo, play director. So anyone can be a director, and you're just kind of a spectating robot, kind of like the Ghost from Destiny. It kind of reminds me of like a big version, and you fly around. During the match, you can find teams and you can talk to them. If they're nice to you, you can, which I'm always nice to my directors because they can literally win the game for you. You can provide them with speed boosts and health. The game has kind of like this weird glacier effect where you get really cold and you have to build a fire, or you can freeze to death. They can provide you with like extra clothing or warmth and stuff, and keep that from happening. It's crazy. If they don't like you, they can nuke the entire zone you're in and literally kill everything there.
How would that? Let's say this game was really popular. Let's say this game was like Fortnite. It was the game. Right?
Yeah.
Everyone's playing it. How would you prevent the director from just fucking over other people? So
that's kind of the thing. At a competitive level, from what I saw in the tournament, you find a director who's hopefully not biased, and a lot of the things you do, you have the audience vote on, which you can do if there is an audience. So if you stream on Twitch, you can link this game, actually link it to your Twitch account, and while you're playing, there's a little counter. It shows you how many people are watching. Voting options will pop up, and people watching you, if you download the extension for Project Darwin on your stream, things will pop up. Do you want to vote yes or no for this thing? And so the director kind of plays more to the audience. Unfortunately, in regular games, there isn't much of an audience unless you run into some giant streamer who's playing. But yeah, at that level, from what I saw, the director was more of just a commentator than actually interacting with the people. I know he has to close out zones, kind of like every VR game. It gets smaller and smaller, kind of thing. But yeah, hopefully find someone who's not biased.
It's a super interesting idea.
Yeah, it's a really cool idea. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I mean, Kevin and I were playing, and we found a couple directors who were really cool. And just because we spoke back to them and didn't cuss at them and insult their moms, they were like, "You're gonna win this game." And they were like nuking other people and like providing us with extra loot and stuff. It was awesome. But no, it's a lot of fun. If you haven't played it, definitely try it out.
Free, right? Why not?
Yeah, why not? Yeah, you got nothing to lose. PUBG as always.
Of course.
Always
of
playing
course.
it.
Yep, I've been seeing you on
Always, unfortunately, locked into that Stockholm syndrome of a game that I love and hate so much. But other than that, man, nothing I can think of.
Yeah.
Off the top of my head, that's pretty much. I'm in the multiplayer BR mode right now.
So the Radical Heights game has died off?
It's not died off. We didn't play it this week.
Okay.
Because Project Darwin came out. I really wanted to try that out. But
wait, so it just came out?
Like 3 days ago, something like that. Well, no. I'm sorry. It's been out. But it was $15, and you had to get it.
Oh, I was like, they released it.
No,
and then one day it was 15, and then like 72 hours later, they're like, "Oh boy, free to play."
No. I apologize. It's been a couple months.
Oh,
I
okay.
believe.
Sorry, I didn't know.
Yeah, I read an article where they changed it. The director, I believe, was talking about how they changed it to free to play because they couldn't fill servers the way they were
Right.
anymore. So yeah, I mean that's kind of their push right now to get more attention on the game. I'm sure.
I mean that's the incredibly predictable.
Yeah.
Not the free to play switch, but this is the gaming industry at its worst in some ways, in the sense that it's like it sees something. It's just so reactive.
Yeah.
PUBG works.
Yep.
And they're like, we have to do the exact same thing, and then everyone does it, and then everyone fails.
And then Fortnite comes out. And speaking of predictable, they're adding soon on the 24th a marketplace for skins and customizable items, which is great.
Yeah,
which I'm looking forward to. It's great, but you brought up copying and being predictable, which is exactly what's happening.
It's just predictable, and then it's gonna by next year, PUBG and Fortnite will be the only ones around. Still, maybe there's one more but this happens a lot. You know, it's like I feel like we have all this hyperbole about single player games dying, which is something I want to talk into sort of as a segue from our primary topic.
Of course.
But this idea that like single player games are not as viable anymore, and it's like if you really look, there's a lot of failed multiplayer, multiplayer,
especially
games.
Right now. Yeah, especially right now.
And anytime there's a thing, when Call of Duty got really big, everyone was trying to do the Twitch shooting. Customize. You unlock the customize. They built the same game. There was 1 million of them. And anytime there's something new, like they all try to. It's this fad thing.
Got to make that money.
PUBG
Everyone's chasing
and
the
Fortnite,
money.
No one's doing it better than them.
Yeah,
hopefully someone will. Maybe someone will create one that's even better than those. I mean, it's very possible.
I really think they will. You mentioned in a year those two being around. I think if anything, Fortnite will definitely still be around. I see PUBG on kind of a downward slope right now, which I think it's been slowly on for a while. But I think PUBG was big because it was the first one to do it, quote unquote, right, and really the first one to do it. And then Fortnite perfected it. In a lot of ways, Fortnite's the biggest thing on the world right now as far as gaming goes and on Twitch. PUBG's still around because
still has hundreds of thousands of viewers, doesn't it? PUBG?
Concurrently, usually it's around like 50,000 unless like Shroud is playing or something and there's some kind of event. It'll hover between 50 to 100. Fortnite never drops between 150 and 120,000 of those people are watching Ninja. Which is bananas. And speaking of Ninja, if you did get a chance to watch the Ninja Vegas 18, was actually really cool. It was a tournament that he put on where 3 different heats of people came in to challenge him. It was insane. It was actually really cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was a really cool event. Like all of his proceeds went to some kind of Alzheimer's foundation, which was really cool. Great. So it was all for a good cause. If you were able to kill him, you got like $2,500 that he paid you. There's like a bounty on his head. It was a really cool event. You can go back and watch the highlights. Like
That's very cool. I think I might have to check.
It was actually really cool. But no, to your point about like new battle royale games, we still have like Valhalla to look forward to, which is kind of that medieval battle royale, which I'm really looking forward to. I hope it has kind of the replay value that PUBG and Fortnite have, because we've been talking about a medieval VR forever. I mean, since PUBG came out
last week, you were like, For Honor should do it.
Oh my God, For Honor.
If For Honor announced that, I'd go buy it on Steam.
Oh
right
yeah,
now.
absolutely. Yeah, I don't care. I mean, $60, I'd probably pay for that even. But
it's only like 15.
Yeah, I know, right? I know.
Calm down.
Calm down. The problem is though with that game, you got to get the player base back, right?
But that's it right there.
Yeah,
right?
that's true. Yeah, maybe
you and I both just said
jump
buy it right now.
Yeah, 100%. You're absolutely right.
I mean, we're introducing it's already a great game. The gameplay's fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely.
They've adopted servers now. They're no longer peer-to-peer. They're dedicated servers. So there's really nothing to stop them from doing it. I'm kind of surprised. I'm kind of surprised we haven't heard anything from it.
I want
especially
everyone.
With Ubisoft, one of the big publishers, is just going to follow the
exactly.
follow
you
the
think,
trends.
Speaking of money, you'd think they'd be all over it, but I want everyone to do it. You know, I'm in such a battle royale mode right now. I want every game ever to have battle royale. I want Forza battle royale.
I don't know.
I want Guitar Hero battle royale.
I want them to do, if they're gonna do it, I want them to do it well. And
totally.
Unfortunately, I think a lot of them are just not gonna do it. Battlefield's gonna do it.
Yeah.
And Call of Duty is now gonna do it.
Right,
I don't know. It's just like it's gonna lose its novelty.
Yeah, it's commodity. Yeah, because like if everyone's doing it, it's kind of oversaturated like anything else. And then you mentioned Call of Duty earlier, which is a great example. We got so many like of these 5-on-5 Twitch shooters that everyone was like kind of over it. I mean, Call of Duty's still huge, of course, but
it's still massive.
But that goes and shows
you. Did you hear that the newest one, Black Ops 4, is not going to have a single player campaign?
No, but that doesn't surprise me. But no, I didn't even hear that. Is that like confirmed?
It does. That surprised me, dude.
Really?
Every Call of Duty ever has had a single player campaign.
But I feel like, I mean, less and less people cared about it. You know what I mean? Kind of thing
crazy.
For the most part. Yeah, it is crazy though that they're finally.
And then we're going to start hearing about how single player games are dead again.
they're going to make a comeback.
This is ridiculous.
They're going to make a comeback.
I don't. Yeah. Well, I have some interesting stats for you.
Okay. Yeah. No, I'm excited to hear. We'll definitely get into that. That's pretty much it for what I've been playing, man. And
cool.
A lot to look forward to.
Yeah, I mean, outside of the big one, for me, I've still played a ton of ESO even over this weekend. Like after Alyssa goes to sleep and stuff.
Yeah.
I can't play God of War without her.
Right.
So I've still played tons of ESO, just leveling up his character, doing a whole quest line that I've never done before, and the Altmary Dominion, the Elven.
Oh, nice.
I've never done that one. Yeah. So I've been just busting through that, leveling and experiencing the new story, which I love because like the main leader, Queen Irene, is played by Kate Beckinsale.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so she does such an excellent. There's a million. Right. Dude, that game has a massive, huge Hollywood cast.
Really?
Yeah, really solid Hollywood cast. And it's funny because two of them, her, Kate Beckinsale, and the king. Damn it, I can't remember his name right now. It starts with an E. The king of the Covenant, the Daggerfall Covenant, is played by Bill Nye, who is Kate Beckinsale's vampire father. Well, supposedly in the Underworld movies.
What?
Yeah,
Bill Nye.
So Bill Nye, you're thinking of the science guy.
Oh,
Bill Nye.
Like,
yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Are you talking? I was like, you might have a different Bill.
No. So there's two Bill Nyes.
Two Bill Nyes. Okay.
And I think one is actually spelled differently. Here comes some typing. Yeah, it's like
Bill
that.
Nye. Oh,
you recognize him, right?
Oh, yeah.
So for those of you who are like, wait, Bill Nye, the science guy, you want to type Nighy, and you will recognize him.
Oh man,
you've seen the Underworld movies, right?
Yeah,
it's her father.
Yeah. I totally believed that it was the science
guy.
And I was like, how did they get him to do that?
The second you were like that shocked, I was like, okay, he thinks
the science guy.
No, definitely not. That would be really weird.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so he's one of the main leaders.
Gotcha. That makes a lot more sense.
There's got these like Underworld cast going on.
Okay, very cool.
But it has a ton. It's got so many actors in it. There's one that does a ton of like old school Disney videos that like as soon as he talks, your childhood just punches you in the face. It's really weird. Every time he talks, I'll have to find him and show it to you later.
Just punches you.
One of the members, I can't remember his name right now. His first name is John. One of the primary members of Monty Python.
Yeah.
Is a primary voice actor. In it.
Wow.
Okay. It's got a ton of voice. Troy Baker is a voice.
Oh, of course.
He does a ton of voices.
Of course, yeah. He does.
I mean, right?
He's in everything.
He has to.
He's 10 people at least in every game.
Yeah, so. He's hundreds of NPCs in this game.
Crazy, man.
So he's in that. So yeah, it's really cool to go through and play and see all the big actors and the writing.
That is awesome. Really I had no idea.
Yeah, the story is good. The story is very good for an MMO. So I've been enjoying that. But yeah, man, like obviously the primary thing for this episode. It's going to be the title
CFD.
card. Yeah, man, you're really into that game. You bring it up like every week now.
I'm just waiting for your breakthrough.
You're going to text me
like Tuesday at 2 a.m. I did it. I finally did it. I played it. It's my new favorite game of all time.
Oh, God.
No?
I'm not going to buy it.
Is it not? You're scratching your head like
I'm not going to buy it. I would buy it for like $4.99 in 10 years just like see what it's all about. Years. But like that's about it.
Yeah, I still don't know if I'd buy it because I never play it.
I wouldn't play it.
If you bought it for $4.99 and then I bought it for $4.99, you're like, do you want to like? No, and then we'd go play something else.
Yeah, true enough. Yeah, man. So obviously, on Friday, God of War released.
Yeah, we're recording this on Sunday. Which we talked about for a particular reason.
Yeah, so this is our second straight Sunday podcast. It's not going to be a normal thing.
Yeah, I hope
We're
not,
going back to
because
Friday.
it is really throwing me
really
off.
tough. Yeah.
I got off work on Friday. I was like, all right, going to Ian's,
Right?
getting the coffee, and then I went home, and I was
so
like,
next
I don't
week,
like
this
Yeah.
Friday, we're good to go back to normal. But
Gotcha.
we wanted to wait till Sunday on purpose this time, just so that I had a chance to play.
Yeah,
Because I got it on Thursday night, but I didn't have time to play it. I got the crazy ass collector's edition.
Okay.
Came with the statue and the steelbook and the like all the stuff, a cloth map.
What? Like a legit
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I mainly got it for the statue.
Yeah, of course.
So I got that, and got that all installed on Friday, and I got to play for a couple hours on Friday night, not very long.
Okay.
And then we got to play a lot yesterday.
Oh, really?
A lot. Yeah,
Okay.
I played probably like 5 or 6 hours yesterday.
How long? Do you know how long the game is?
What I'm hearing from reviewers is, if you were to just run straight through the main story, and you played for a moment there.
Yeah,
I made sure that I wanted you to play a little bit of it so you could have a frame of reference. There's lots of like little things off on the side, and some of those get a little bit more intricate than what you were seeing.
Oh, okay.
So if you just ignore all of that, which is crazy, I don't know.
Yeah, don't do that.
Don't do that. You get a bunch of like money and jewels and like health things and experience and cool areas and little story beats with Atreus and stuff. But if you were to just blast through the story, it's like 15 to 20 hours.
Wow.
I'm hearing from reviewers who are really playing it thoroughly.
Yeah.
It's about a 30-hour game.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because it has a lot of RPG elements in it, which if you ever played any of the original God of Wars, they had a little bit of that too. You could upgrade your weapons.
Yeah.
Was your only thing. And then as you upgraded weapons, you unlock new combos in the original God of War games. So, I mean, it's not like it's completely like they're just trying to put like RPG in there and stuff. I mean, it's tied to the original kind of like inspiration of the game. That's still part of the game. It's just more in depth now.
Yeah. No, if I can jump in real quick before.
I'm not trying to do a deep dive there.
No.
We kind of a few things connected there.
So when I got here, you let me play a little bit of it.
I wanted to give you like if it was broken up into an episode, I wanted to give you what would be like episode 1.
The pilot. You gave me the pilot of God of War, and dude, I freaking loved it. Like, all right, we talked about it. We talked about it before. Neither of us have a huge background with God of War.
I played them all.
I thought about it. I think I played 2, and I think I've had one for the PSP that I might have played. 2
is probably my favorite one of the older ones.
Dude, it was so long ago. Yeah. I don't even remember. I probably enjoyed it. It was fun to just kill things and run around.
Yeah, good gameplay, solid gameplay. The stories were mediocre.
Yeah.
Kratos himself was mediocre.
It always seemed really goofy to me. Not that I minded. I was really young, and I still wouldn't mind. It was always kind of like overtly sexual, and you could bang like Aphrodite and stuff, which I was like, cool, man. Kratos, get it. Like, let's go. But
it was unapologetic.
Which is great. It was very undeniable, which is important. I never would have expected what I just played to branch out from those games. We're not really giving away. Can I talk about details of?
Yeah, let's. So we played the first 45 minutes. So here's what we'll do. When I get further into it, this is spoiler free.
Okay.
100%.
Yeah.
We will talk about the first 30 to 45 minutes in some detail.
Yeah. So, there won't be any. There's nothing really.
There's not too much to spoil. Like the first 25 minutes of that 45 minutes is almost. There's a few changes, but almost identical to the E3 2016 reveal.
I was just going to say, everything you learn, we already knew pretty much.
But a forewarning, if you want to know nothing at all, leave now. Come back in half an hour probably, something like that.
Yeah, 20, 30 minutes for sure. And,
but let's go into some details of the first 30 minutes, and then I won't mess with that after when I talk about more stuff.
Yeah. So right out of the gate, the game looks incredible, of course.
My God.
That was expected. Looks insane. You have a PS4 Pro and a 4K TV, so like I was in another dimension playing this game. If I did it at home, it would probably be disappointing, but it would probably still look really good. I mean, by comparison,
this is the third or fourth game, and and you haven't even seen like the way it gets later.
No, I mean,
this is probably like the third game in the last like 3 years where I've said it's the best looking game I've ever seen.
Yeah, 100. Well, I remember one in particular that was recent.
We're on the bleeding edge. Horizon was the last.
Horizon was the one. Yeah, the best.
And Horizon's still gorgeous.
It's incredible.
But
there's
like some stuff. And like you kind of seeing some bleak things right now. It gets a little crazy later.
Yeah.
it takes Horizon for its money.
Yeah,
it pushes it. Right there.
To that point, the things we were doing or I was doing at the beginning of the game, none of them were like crazy hardware intensive kind of things as far as like a lot going on. That's why I was gonna ask if like later on because the game runs really well, and I'm hoping that holds up.
It has run that smooth every second.
So that's all consistent. Oh my god, that's amazing, and should have been expected, especially at this point. Dude, okay, so from what I played, and I don't want to be this guy, but I'm gonna be the guy. The way the camera is and the way the movement is and everything like that is kind of what we talked about last week with the new kind of Sony RPG feel.
The Sony exclusive
Last
game.
of Us, or Naughty Dog, we called it. The genre should just be Naughty Dog. Last of Us, Uncharted kind of feel. Not quite as quick as Uncharted because you can't fly around like Nathan Drake can.
Right.
But to that feel, a lot like Last of Us. The camera kind of right over the shoulder. Everything feels heavy.
Yes, the weight of strikes.
Oh my god! And I was going to talk about the combat is so satisfying because you feel like you're actually punching things when you are punching
when you
things,
punch someone in the face, it sounds like two rocks.
Yeah, because I mean it is because I mean you're
a god.
You're a god. Yeah, and you're literally crushing people by punching them. And but I mean just the way Last of Us had that feeling when you would hit people, this is just like that on steroids because you're sending them through the air, flying and stuff. With the axe, the combat is crazy because you can throw it around.
Just talk about that for a moment.
Yeah,
because you just experienced it for the first time.
Yeah.
Because I'm like 6-7 hours in this game.
Yeah.
And I'm still chucking that thing even when I don't have to. So when you first threw it and you first brought it back, like
when okay, so there's a point where you have to throw the axe for the first time. There's like a barrier you have to get through, and I don't know why I never really considered that you'd be able to throw the axe. And once I saw that you could, I was like, okay, well, I've been trained my whole life that it would just boomerang back to me eventually, and it would just fly out of nowhere, come through the ground, and it would be back in my hand. This game will just literally let you forget about the axe if you don't call it back to you. You have to hit a button to call it back. And when you do, we talked about it kind of toward the end, you can hear it like crashing through the woods.
It'll cut shit down when it's coming back. It'll hurt enemies too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so if you like, there are times where I'll just chuck it at the wall behind dudes.
Yeah.
And then just bring it back, boom, 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 and it knocks them all over.
Yeah, and you grab it and it comes right back to you. It's so cool, so satisfying.
And the design, the tactile feel, I mean, it seems, it's such a small thing. It takes 1 second, it's one button, it's over, you're back into the game, you're fighting. There's nothing really like, it's not like it's some revolutionary thing.
Right, yeah.
But the execution of it, where you pull it back, you can feel it coming back in your hands.
Yeah.
And when it comes back, the animation where it jerks him back a little bit, you can see it move.
Yeah.
You can see how the axe kind of sticks to his hand, and then the controller rumbles just the tiniest bit. It is the most satisfying motherfucking thing. God, I just can't stop chucking it and bringing it back.
It's so good, man. And I think it's a cool little like extra sense of responsibility that they added for the axe, because like there were a couple times where I threw it and then completely forgot about it, and I'd be in combat like punching guys with my hands, and you were like, you can call that back, and oh shit, yeah, I forgot, and then call the axe back, and it comes and it hits a zombie in the head, and like you just have it back on you, and that's crazy. I think that's a really cool addition, and it was executed really well. From what I played, I mean, I didn't get to experience much more. I got to look at the menus a little bit.
You didn't get into any of that yet.
No, yeah, you mentioned RPG elements earlier, and it does look like there's a pretty deep like skill tree kind of venture you can take, which is awesome. Which is a really cool branch off from the original God of War games as well.
How did you feel about the story?
I mean, again, I only got so much of it, and what little I got, I knew a little bit of.
Well, that's what a pilot doesn't show you everything, right? Like,
yeah,
if that's a pilot, it's a show. Like, was the story, so outside of the gameplay, was what was going on to you interesting?
No.
Like, do you want to continue based on what
I haven't read a lot about this game. I haven't really followed it. Remember, I forgot it was even coming out until last weekend when we talked about it. So I didn't know, and forgive my ignorance, I didn't know who the kid was exactly. I didn't know.
You don't really need to, though, because you know who it is now.
No, I know who it is now. Yeah, I didn't know who the. Can we talk about it? I mean, it was on the E3.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know
anything. We are going to spoil anything and everything in the first 40 minutes of the game.
Cool, gotcha. Okay, I didn't know who the body was. I didn't know. You know, I never really.
But that's the thing, is like you don't need any of that. I think they. So like that was one of my complaints about Witcher 3.
Yeah.
Is I tell everyone how good it is, and I give it. I let them borrow it, or they buy it, or they borrow it from someone else, right? And then I never hear back from them. They're like, "Yeah, I just never played it." Yeah. And that's because that game doesn't do a wonderful job. If people would just stick with it for a little bit and get into the game, it takes off. And I know that they'd love it. But the first couple of hours are a little slow. Yeah. And you don't really know who's who, and they don't do the best job.
That's true.
Of of being okay, this is Vesemir, he's your mentor. This is your sort of your ex that you're still kind of trying to get back. But things are I just don't feel like those are established super well. Yeah. And you feel just kind of dropped in like it's a sequel. It just picked up and you're almost like, oh, did I miss part of this?
Yeah, it does kind of.
I don't feel like I feel like God of War does a really great job of that.
It does.
You don't need to know any. You could never have played another God of War game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it does do a great job. It obviously doesn't pick up right after the other God of War games. It kind of puts you into the chapter of a book. Kind of feel all right, here we are.
It feels like what you played feels like an epilogue of a big fantasy.
You feel like you just left an entire story. The movie just ended and you're kind of picking up afterward, which is kind of cool. The story's really intriguing. I kind of like that it doesn't go, okay, this is, what's his name? He is your son. He will be blah, 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 blah.
Boy.
He just calls him boy.
Treats him just walk around my house just boy.
Yeah, he treats him like shit. The kid is very obviously trying to impress him, so that kind of gives you the idea that it's his son. Yeah. And eventually...
he calls him father.
He calls him father, and then you pick up on that. There's a lot of things that you're like, do I need to pay attention to that? I kept noticing things that I was like, that might make sense later. The boy had a lot of tattoos. And I was like, that's kind of strange. Is that normal? I don't know what the world is like.
Yeah, we don't know. I mean, it's like a Nordic fantasy world.
He has
Norse...
this crazy prison tattoo on his neck.
Yeah, and I don't know, because they give you some more hints about who Mom is throughout the game, but not a lot to go off. Yeah, they kind of like he doesn't want to talk about her very much.
Yeah, no, he doesn't. No, I mean, obviously zero emotion from Kratos, which is kind of his thing. I
feel there's a little bit. I mean, there's a point where at the very beginning where they put her on the pyre.
Yeah, I mean,
he's kind of staring into the fire.
He stares at the fire.
Clearly, I don't know. He does a good job of. They got Christopher Judge as the actor. I don't know. Did you ever see any Stargate?
No.
Okay.
No.
He's one of the main characters in the original Stargate show. Yeah. And he is he makes it for a fantastic Kratos.
No, I think so too. Yeah, I wasn't sure if you liked it or not, or if you liked his performance.
I love it. So far.
No, I think it's awesome. Really good. Very, very serious. Right. Very not kind of campy as the old ones kind of were.
Not at all.
Yeah, no, not at all. Not even. Not at all. But
I like the. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, as far as emotion goes, what I kept wondering is with Kratos being a god, who is this woman? What kind of powers does the boy have? Where do we stand with that whole thing?
Those are the things that are continuing to drive me through this game.
Yeah, but and isn't Kratos? And forgive me if I'm wrong, but he's not like a god. He's like a kind of a lower level.
So I'm gonna spoil the shit out of the first 3 God of Wars right now.
Okay,
very quickly.
Go ahead.
So he started off in the first game. He starts off, as far as you know, he is just a general of Spartan's armies. Okay. And he's fighting a war, and I think it's the Persians come in and they slaughter his army, and he's lost a battle, and he asks the gods for the power to destroy his enemies and grant him victory and glory.
Gotcha.
Ares comes out, gives him the power to do so, makes him doesn't make him a god, but makes him a demigod, basically.
Gotcha.
He goes through, he slaughters everyone, then he's put into a blood rage. He kills his own family, blames Ares for it because Ares knew that was going to happen. Okay. And he knew that he could never use Kratos as a tool of war if he had a distraction about trying to get home to his family.
Gotcha.
So he tricked him into killing his own family. So he kills his own family. So it's a half, I blame Ares, but also he knows it's his fault because he asked for the powers in the first place.
Yeah.
So it's this whole thing. The ashes of his family's as a punishment, are put onto his skin, ingrained in his skin. That's why he's gray.
Okay.
And he has to live with that forever. So then the next 3 games he spends just systematically killing every last god that's betrayed him. He kills Ares, becomes the god of war, and you're like, well, is he really a god? Because he was a man, right? But that's when you find out that he is actually a son of Zeus.
Oh.
Because if you know anything about Greek mythology, Zeus is going around just poking it in
just banging a bang. Yeah, okay.
So all right. He is a god.
Okay.
He technically is a god, and in every way is an actual
I don't know why. I guess he just feels human to me.
Well, because he grew up with a human experience.
Gotcha.
Much like Atreus, the boy.
Yeah.
He grew up with a mortal mother mortal brother,
dad, probably a dick.
There was no dad.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, yeah.
His dad is Zeus.
No dad, yeah. Maybe some kind of male figure in his life,
right?
kind of
or maybe, or not. Maybe mom was single mom.
Yeah,
but he grew up a completely mortal life.
Gotcha.
And he wasn't made immortal until he was crowned as a god.
Okay.
So he didn't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's how I think that's why he's still has somewhat of the. It's why he's able to be a human being. Yeah. Still is because he grew up as a human being.
Yeah, because like when
then he was turned into a god.
He like lives in a lodge, or not a lodge, more like a cabin, like an old cabin. He like hunts and.
Well, it's a super solitary life because he destroys the world.
Yeah.
Because each god that he kills in Greece, in the Greek pantheon, whatever they were responsible for creating or overseeing, becomes nil. So. Like it starts raining acid and the oceans boil and so at the end of the third game when he kills Zeus and he kills himself, you think he tries to kill himself at the end of 3.
Oh yeah.
The whole world is destroyed. It's just like raining, lightning. It's like a primordial Earth.
Okay.
Because all the gods have been slaughtered.
So where we're at now,
and at the very end of God of War 3, it shows a blood trail where where Kratos stabbed himself, falling off the cliff into the giant ocean, and that's how 3 ends.
And we pick up here?
And then we pick up here.
Really? Okay.
So he's clearly running away from the world that he destroyed.
Yeah.
Blaming everyone else for his problems.
Yeah. Interesting.
And they bring in, like, they acknowledge that he was just always in those games. He was always like, I will have my revenge! Yeah. Just screaming mad. And now he lectures Atreus on, like, how rage can control you and you get lost in it and everything. So it's really cool. Yeah. Knowing his backstory, like, oh, damn.
Yeah, that's what I was going to bring up when you mentioned that he killed his family because he lost control and he had too much power. And then he has a conversation with Atreus about, like, controlling your rage and how anger can be a weapon unless you get it out of control kind of thing, which I thought was kind of nice. Maybe they were kind of alluding to that a little bit.
Big time alluding without making, if you didn't play them, not making you feel, like, lost. Like, wait, what? Who's he talking about?
Right, yeah. He's not like this one time I killed a bunch of people.
Yeah, he didn't. Yeah, there's no crazy exposition. Yeah. And the writing is really well done. I love Atreus.
Yeah.
You didn't get a huge chance yet to really see him, but how did you... Because I was a little worried, like, kids in a game, is he going to have his little high-pitched voice and be screaming all the time like Navi and Zelda, or is he going to be, like, in the way? None of those problems.
The closest experience that I can remember having with a kid in a game that you spend that much time with would probably be Ellie. Yeah. And she I don't remember how old.
Like
she's like 13 or 14, right?
Yeah,
so she's kind of like a teenager.
Like freshman in high school.
But she's not annoying. She's like the quiet girl in class who like reads and stuff. But this kid, whose name I keep forgetting, I'm sorry. Atreus.
That's because he only calls him boy.
He just calls him boy, and
every now and then he calls him
How old would you say? Maybe 8 or 9?
I think he's probably 10. Yeah, okay. 9 or 10, gotcha. I would say, right there.
Yeah, so he's still very much that high-pitched voice kind of thing, but he's not annoying. He's very much just a little boy trying to impress his father, which is...
he's super endearing.
A lot of people can connect with. He's super endearing. He obviously shows a lot more emotion. When they first kind of show his mom, he's... I think saying like a prayer, and lighting
some
candles,
kind of prayer,
some kind of song or prayer, and it does show him crying. He kind of turns to the light, and there's tear tracks, but they don't overdo it. He doesn't curl up into a ball and start sobbing. Like it's really, really nice the way they do it. He
doesn't want to cry in front of Kratos.
He definitely doesn't. He probably
so as soon as he sees him, he's like wiping his cheeks,
thrown through the forest or something. I like him a lot. I think it'd be very easy to spend more time with him as a character. I like, speaking of the combat, that they kind of integrate him. There's even a point where you're hunting a deer, some kind of crazy blue ice deer in the forest.
I love this. Like, I love Norse fantasy. It's so cool.
It's so everything's so like bright.
It kind of reminds me of Skyrim in a lot of ways.
Yeah, a lot of
ways. It doesn't feel like it doesn't feel so similar that it's like, oh, this is clearly... it's inspired... both of them are inspired by Norse...
Yeah, I was going to say, speaking of Skyrim, you encounter a Draugr, which is like the only other game I've fought a Draugr in that I can remember is Skyrim and then now God of War. But there's like a point where you're hunting a deer and you're kind of over his shoulder and you help him aim and fire, which is really cool. I don't know if you do that more in the game. I'm assuming you do. There's a little bit more
stuff. I think there is one, at least as far as I am, there's one more time where very similar thing happens.
Okay.
And there's another time where you gotta like, he's distracted. Something big happens to Atreus. And after that big thing happens, he's really distracted. And you have to like keep talking to him because you're separated.
Oh, gotcha.
And you're talking to him, and you have to like encourage him.
Okay.
and Kratos is terrible at that.
Yeah,
and it's really good. So they
just emotionless.
They put the two of them in these situations where neither of them are very comfortable or good at it.
Yeah.
But instead of feeling like awkward or not really done, you start to feel for both of them.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And obviously throughout this game, they're going to grow closer and closer.
Yeah, because, Atreus obviously being at a point where his mother would probably still heavily be involved in his life, kind of caring for him and teaching him things and showing him that compassion that Kratos obviously can't show him.
And you get the at least from the first 30 minutes, you get the idea that Kratos wasn't around too much.
Yeah.
Because he's asking him questions like, your mother taught you to hunt, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, even the boy brings up, he's like, you never wanted to take me hunting, so mom took me a lot. Like, well, where was Kratos? You know what I mean? Kind of thing, which is nice. I don't know if they've kind of fill in those blanks
Not yet.
on. I mean, you're what, like 7 hours in?
Yeah, and the interesting thing about this story as well, regardless of 30 minutes or 6 hours in, from the moment you select the difficulty at the beginning, so the opening menu shows Kratos standing there with an axe in a tree. Right?
Yep.
And you hit start, and you hit the continue, or you hit the difficulty you choose, and you're just there, and you're in the game. It's not going to cut till credits.
Yeah.
So he hits the axe and stuff, and there's no cutscenes, there's no changing of the shifting. It's all the whole game is one. There's never a point where the cutscene, if it's a quote unquote cutscene where you no longer have control of Kratos, you can just kind of tell the camera just kind of backs out a little bit and moves around, and suddenly you're in a cutscene.
Yeah, it is.
And then something turns around and you're back in the game. There is no cutting at all.
It's really interesting how they had that set up, because I expected you'd pick a difficulty and you would hit the tree and go hurrah, and then you'd be okay.
Start the game.
Now we're starting the game, kind of stitch.
Nope.
Like if you remember obviously, but if for the people who played Witcher, in the menu you're kind of like standing by a fire, hanging out. That would be like weird if you chose the game and then you started right there. Now you're at the fire, you're talking to, what's his name? And so it kind of took that approach instead of just a menu, like you mentioned, where you chose your difficulty and you just take off from there. Mm-hmm. I still haven't really experienced a stopping point. And we got not. Yeah, that's what it sounds like. So that's really cool though. That's great.
I wonder if that's ever been done.
I don't know. I can't think of a good example.
I mean, that is...
It's nice.
Really impressive. I mean, I don't even know of a movie that's done that.
Yeah, there's no real menu. You're either not playing the game or you're in the game.
Yeah,
kind of thing, which is weird.
I mean, there is the menu for your gears.
I'm sorry, I meant like a main menu.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, like where you can options and bonus content or whatever, any of that garbage. So like, that's kind of an interesting take. Speaking of the actual menu, we kind of talked about the RPG like skill trees and stuff. Have you gotten to dive pretty deep into that?
Yeah, I would say if I can come up with. And this is like me really
reaching,
really coming up with something here.
Sea of Thieves.
I've got 2 issues with the game so far. Incredibly minor issues.
Gotcha.
I don't like the menus at all.
Oh, really?
I love what you're doing.
Yeah.
So before we get into the little gripes, your axe, you have armor. You can completely upgrade and change your armor. You have different armor sets. Some are full like metal encased like Viking armor.
Oh, really? Okay.
It's more. So there's a lot of customization in this game, which I love. That's a new thing that was never in the last game, in any of the previous ones. And different armor give you different benefits, and you actually have stats on the right hand side of the screen. You have like strength, defense, luck is one of them. Luck is like how much coinage you pick up and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Runic, because a little bit later on you get runes to put in your axe. They're like magic attacks.
Oh, gotcha.
So then they'll work in combo with the physical attacks and everything. So you have all these different stats, and each set of armor will either give you negative or positive in different stats. So you're always making a decision like do I want more defense but less attack? And you're making these kind of tactical decisions based on how you want to play the game.
Huh.
It's nothing like Witcher or Elder Scrolls where it's like super customizable and it's like play completely different ways, but it does alter the way in which you're going to run into combat sometimes, depending on what kind of armor build you have on. So you can make your magic a lot more powerful and with less cooldown times. You can use it more often. So you can put runes. You can upgrade. There's people you meet that will help you with stuff, and they have like shops and they upgrade. This is how you upgrade your stuff, but they're also characters, and they're hilarious. These 2 characters that help you upgrade your weapons. They're fully written, like they're characters in the story. They're part of the story. They're
just in the menu though?
No.
Oh, like you actually go somewhere
they're part of the story, but then you go up and you hit circle and you talk to them.
Gotcha.
And then Kratos switches and looks up and now you're in the menu.
Gotcha.
and they're just these wonderfully acted and written characters that are just like this great respite of humor.
Okay.
And Atreus, you know, their interact. It's just, I don't want to spoil anything, but
okay.
Oh my god, the rest of the characters in this game, I've met 3 additional new people, and they're all absolutely like instantly likable, and you want to know more about them, and you want to see them again. Every time you see them again, you're like, oh, there he is, cool. Yeah. We get another section with them, and so that never lets down. And it's not just the 2 of them the whole game.
Speaking of other characters, at the beginning of kind of the pilot, if you will, or,
yes.
I'm sorry, the end.
Your pilot episode.
My pilot episode. At the end of the pilot, you encounter your first kind of real like antagonist character. That's not like a Draugr, something without personality. The Stranger. You don't get a name.
He mentions he has a brother, and he says when Thor sent me.
Yeah.
In the middle of this fight,
which in my head I keep trying to piece together, and at the end you're right. He says like, "I am not my brother." Yeah. Kind of while you're fighting him. Do you know more about this man?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. There's theories and stuff. Yeah, we have some theories now, some ideas. One thing I want to ask you, and I don't know, you're not as prone to make big, exalting statements like I am. Is that not one of the best fight scenes you've ever played in a video game?
No, I was actually going to get to that. It was absolutely insane. I felt like a superhero fighting another superhero. Like
they need to make a Superman game now.
100%.
The whole thing needs to be like that.
Be just like that. You're literally throwing each other through trees and giant rock structures. You're just shoving each other through them. It's crazy. At the beginning, you think he's just a man with like a bad attitude, and you're warning him like, "Hey, you don't want any of this."
And you feel like a badass.
And you feel like a badass. Yeah, you're like, this guy's about to get smushed. And the very opposite happens.
And I love how he punches you like with no effect at all.
Yeah, you kind of
like the gamer, the creators were like trying to make you feel like this little bitch.
This guy's human,
slapping you, and then you punch him, and he goes flying, and you're like, oh my god, this guy! What is this guy doing? I'm gonna kill him.
So real quick to touch on something we talked about earlier, the guy is covered in tattoos.
Yeah,
and they talk about looking for something, which all Kratos had is the woman and the boy, from what I understand. Yeah. So I assume maybe the tattoos had a relation, and he's looking for the boy. I don't actually know.
Actually, I didn't even think about that.
I have no idea. I'm just pulling that literally out of thin air. But no, the fight scene was incredible. Would you call it a boss battle? I guess you would.
Sure.
One of the coolest boss battles I can remember. Not that I play a lot of them anymore.
Right.
And not that a lot of games have them anymore. But there were different like levels to it, kind of ish.
Well, and
like,
there's a lot of bad boss battles out there.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah,
kind of sour. You're like, oh, you know.
100%.
And then when they're done right, you're like, oh my god, that's so fun.
Yeah, like when you would catch him like in a good counter, you feel awesome. You're like, oh yeah, fuck you, fuck this guy.
Does that slow motion thing?
Yeah, you hit him, he just goes flying backward, and he does his kind of.
And anything that he hits on his way while he's flying, like tree, he'll just knock a tree over. Down.
Like just stagnant stuff laying around, like actual trees will just go toppling over like mid-fight, which is crazy. One of the better action sequences I felt in like a single player story game that I can't even remember. I mean, especially on that scale, you know what I mean? In a game like Last of Us or Naughty Dog, you don't really, or not Naughty Dog, or Uncharted, you don't really get. You get boss battles, but they're usually like another person.
Yeah, and they're more story based.
Yeah, they're more story based.
It's more cinematic, and it's like thematic, and and you're like wrestling with him and trying to kill him.
It's all more emotional. This was like a Dragon Ball Z episode.
Because this is still once it starts with a quote unquote cutscene. There's no cut, but it starts with a scene where you're not in control. When he's clearly trying to make Kratos mad.
Yep.
And he finally does, and he goes, "I warned you."
Yep.
Punches him in the face and all that. And like I was so blown away when he comes up and he goes, "My turn." And he hits you in the stomach.
Yeah, me too.
And Kratos goes flying.
What I thought this guy was, I thought this guy was like a cultist for another god.
Yeah.
Maybe like he's obsessed with another god, and he's like, this god wants me to go pick on Kratos, so I'm gonna do it. And then Kratos just smushes this guy like an ant, which is absolutely not what happened. The guy turns out to have some kind of powers of his own, or maybe he is some kind of god or demigod. But he comes back and uppercuts Kratos, sends him flying through the air. And then just
goes ham after that. And there's so many cool scenes too, where it just you're fighting, and your point. I think what's really cool about that fight too is it goes back and forth between you having control and it being a scene.
Yeah.
But I don't feel when you're fighting him, it's any less over the top and like really cinematic and epic because of, like you were saying, like the trees get knocked down when when he hits you, you go flying and you destroy rocks and stuff.
No, I mean,
but then it switches and like the the moments when it takes control away from you, it kind of sounds to me like if I hadn't played that game, I'm like, oh, I wouldn't like that. Where
yeah.
You don't even notice because you're so. For me, I'm so enraptured into what's happening.
Yeah.
You know, when he throws him to the rock and he punches him in the face, and the back of his head just destroys the rock behind him, and you're just watching like. He punches the side out and he drops the big stone on top. I mean, it so just crazy. never gets.
What I found myself doing was like during the quote unquote like cinematics when he was punching him, I was pressing R1 anyway because like I never knew.
Like, you never know.
I was like, should I be punching him? Like I'll just let Kratos handle it. But it was awesome. It felt. I feel like the term over the top has like a negative connotation, and it was never negative, but it's so over the top, but in a great way. Like. I mean, just an excellent way, and the antagonist you're fighting starts out as such like not menacing in the least, kind of like weird and off-putting, but you definitely feel like the alpha over that guy, and then that completely switches. He's almost terrifying toward the end of it. His powers are crazy. He
kicks the shit out of Kratos.
He beats the shit out of him, yeah. And Kratos, which I wanted to talk about earlier, has very much that like I'm ready to retire kind of feel. You know what I mean? If I could compare it to anything, if you've seen Logan, the last Wolverine movie, it's a lot like that. It's obviously a badass, obviously better than everyone, but so just kind of
just weary.
I'm getting too old for this shit kind of feel, you know, which is awesome. I very much like that. And Joel, not to keep bringing that up, but Joel from The Last of Us, same way. I mean,
there's a lot of similarities there. I don't think that's a bad thing. Like, you know, it has all of this art, whether it's movies and games, like it's all iterative, it's all cyclic. And all of these people have seen that movie and played that game. Yeah. And I'm sure they would be the first to tell you, but yeah, absolutely. We felt a connection with that and loved that movie and loved Last of Us. And there's definitely inspiration there.
Yeah, and that's okay. Speaking of that,
completely original.
I mean, the music was another thing I noticed. The music is incredible. Which, not to keep going there, but kind of reminded me-ish of Last of Us. There was a lot of kind of guitar strumming that happened. Kind of, yeah.
So that one didn't. Actually, there's a violin sequence that sounds like Firefly.
I was just going to say that. Sorry. Damn it. No, you're fine. I was just going to say, when he's in the cabin and he's talking about...
that comes back every now and then.
I felt the exact same way. Yeah,
I feel like that seems to be Atreus' song.
Okay.
Anytime Atreus is kind of doing something, it'll
kind of upbeat, violent. Yeah, it reminded me a lot of Firefly. That's really funny you bring that up. I thought I was going to sound stupid saying that, but I'm glad you thought that as well.
Beautiful music. Beautiful. Yeah. And you're not usually one to like pick up on that immediately.
Notice, yeah.
And you'll notice it, but it's not like...
Well, the Firefly thing caught me. Because I've seen Firefly now because of you like 4 or 5 times all the way through, and I love it. And so the music really stands out because it's so different. That weird like space cowboy theme, kind of, which you think wouldn't fit into this game, but it does really well. Yeah. And then, but yeah, I caught that, and I was like, then I started listening because you're right, it's not something I usually care so much about. But no, it was incredible. I mean,
and then Kratos' theme is my god! It's the like they have like a whole bass, man, like a man chorus.
I mean, everything about Kratos is bass, man.
I'm like, oh, this is so good.
Just him as a character, I have like a lot of respect for him now, which I feel like I didn't.
Neither did I. I hated Kratos, dude. Yeah. There's a part in God of War 3 where you find this girl. She's probably like 20 years old, and she's like a prisoner of Zeus's, or like a sex slave or something. You can't really tell, but and you pick her up and you're using her to get through these doors, like because she can get through some of the doors or whatever. So she's like helping you. And then there's this one door that's broken, and the gear is spinning. Okay. And so the door is up, like slamming against itself. Yeah. And you toss her in the gear, and it tears her in half, and it stops the door so he can get through.
Really? Oh my god.
He's a mass murderer.
He tossed her in the gear.
It's brutal as fuck, and it's like very Kratos at that time. That's like
oh my god.
At that point in the game, he isn't a human. He's so disconnected from everything. I hated him. I'm like, dude, I'm playing as the bad guy, and like not even a cool bad guy. He just hates everything. And for them to not shy away from that character and be like, oh yeah, like, Kratos died, and now you're playing as Atreus. They could have done that.
Watch. I just have a funny vision now of halfway through this game. There's gonna be a point where a door is stuck, and you just pick up Atreus and throw him in the fucking gear. He's like, "Daddy, no!" And you're just looking at your TV like, "Oh god."
I mean, that's how I felt. I was like, fuck you, Kratos.
Yeah, he always had a weird, like, I mean, it was just kind of goofy. Like, if I even thought of...
but it's 13 years ago. The first one came out.
Exactly, yeah.
It was reflective of gaming at the time. Totally. I feel like there's a lot of games where Conker's Bad Fur Day was out.
Oh my god.
Like just like really like 14-year-old humor, and that game is funny. It's funny today. I'm not dissing it, but there weren't any games like Witcher or Last of Us or Horizon or Uncharted or Mass Effect, where these like really serious, in-depth, character-driven stories, that just wasn't really a thing. There was a few of them, but now it's so viable because facial expressions are so good, graphics are so good, the sound, the voice acting has gone, quality has gone up.
It would almost be uncomfortable for something that goofy. You know what I mean? Like it's so.
And we're all older too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I was in 8th grade when the first God of War came out.
I was probably,
and that game was perfect.
4 years old or something. I don't remember, but
2005.
Okay, well,
however old you were then.
3. Thank you. But no, I think you're right. I think with the way games look now and the way that they play, it would be uncomfortable if Kratos was just banging every female character he encountered and like throwing chicks through gears and doors and stuff. Like it'd be weird. It'd be weird,
but I also appreciate that it is the same person. Yeah. At the very, very, very beginning, he looks at his wrist and he reties because that's where the chains used to be seared into his skin.
Is that what that is?
So remember the chain weapon that he had?
He had like hooks with. Yeah.
So when Ares gave him the power to be a demigod, at the time he was only a demigod. When he gave him the power, the chains were seared into him, into his skin, and burned into his arms.
I didn't even know.
And he was like, yeah. And it was like yet another reminder of all the mistakes that he made, and that he killed everyone with those. So last time I saw him, he still had those on at the very end of God of War 3. He killed himself. He had them on always, and now he doesn't. And he's staring at his right there. He stares at his arm, and then the only time this whole game where I've seen him other than be angry, he gets really sad. If you rewatch that scene, he looks at his arms and like his face like drops because he's clearly remembering throwing an innocent girl into gears and murdering innocent people.
Right.
Yeah. And like if in God of War 3, what's the guy's name who's really fast? Hermes, yeah.
With the shoes with the wings on them?
Yes. Yeah. Hermes is talking shit that whole game and like running away. And when you catch him, he tears his legs off and beats him to death with his legs. And the whole game, Hermes is like, "You'll never catch me, you piece of shit. You're slow. You're slow." He's like, he's trying to get Kratos to follow him. Oh my
god, yeah.
And so eventually you catch him, and after he's this little chatterbug.
Oh my god,
he talked all that shit. He chopped his leg and he beats him to fucking death. I mean, like he is insane.
Oh my god.
And like he beats him with his own leg. So it's like, to know that, right? To be watching that, and then you can see there are moments where he goes back into those moments, and then even after the stranger attacks him in the first 40 minutes, he's asking like, "How do they find me? Do they know about my past?" Yeah. And then he mentions it's been so long, so we get a little bit of clue that it's been an incredibly long time. Who knows? It could be 10,000 years. I don't know.
That's the thing, because he's immortal. He's immortal, right? Yeah. So I mean, this could be an entirely different.
He just grew out a beard. He can do whatever he wants.
Yeah, he just grew a little beard. Actually, a pretty good beard on him.
The only thing he can't do is get rid of his gray skin or his tattoo.
Right. Yeah. So like he has like the red.
So the red tattoo. His brother had a big birthmark on his face and his head. It was red like that. And when his brother was abducted and thought killed by, I can't remember, Ares maybe.
Okay.
He gave himself that tattoo that was kind of inspired by his brother's birthmark.
And it kind of comes over.
So he had that before he was even, when he was still a quote-unquote human.
Gotcha. And there is a lot to dive into in this game. We actually almost are out of time. And I have one more topic you want to touch on. Last thing on God of War that I got to experience just in that short amount of time. But you pointed out, I'm sure I would have noticed eventually, but it wouldn't have caught it right out of the gate. You have kind of I almost said a bestiarity. Definitely not. There's no bestiality in this game that I know of. No. But yeah, you have kind of a log where you keep track of different beasts that you encounter, which I thought was really cool. Kind of a lot like Witcher. But it's like written by the boy. Yep. Which is super interesting. You pointed out that there's times where maybe he can sound kind of like just the vocabulary of
He's writing it like a 10 or 11-year-old would be writing this stuff down.
Which is hilarious. Yeah.
It's fantastic.
The few that I got to see, he was talking about how like, oh, well, Mother told me to stay away from this one, which is really cool. I still kind of provides good information on it. So
it does provide information. In fact, and the more you fight the same creature, he adds like sub.
Oh, really? That's cool.
As you learn
like
stuff.
scratches things out. And
yeah,
like,
exactly. So then he
really
talks
cool.
about stuff. So he's like, well, these ones tend to have a huge swing. So I've noticed that Dad will dodge them. And when he does that, he's able to get in a few swings in. So it tells you how to fight them.
He's like taking notes for like himself later on in life.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
Exactly. And then there's like I was saying when I was telling you that it's written in his voice. So like sometimes like he'll write stuff and be like, "Oh, these guys are really big and mean," and like
big and mean. They're scary.
There's one where he talks about wolves and he's like, "I know these wolves were. I know it's kill or be killed, but I really hate killing these wolves. It makes me kind of sad. I hope Dad doesn't read this."
Oh,
because he doesn't want his dad to know that he's sad about killing wolves.
Awkward.
Yeah, it's cool, man. Like the characters and the story and the combat and all of it, like any great game, it is all really intrinsically tied together in a perfect little knot where everything interacts with everything else all at once. So you're never closing off one thing to look at another. It's all connected. Yeah. Which is good game design. Fantastic game design.
Yeah. 100%. And you know, from what I play of it, I loved it. I want to keep playing so badly. I knew that question was coming. I dreaded that question for 55 minutes. I was wondering if the pilot
would be enough to make you feel like, because I would love not only for you to play it. Yeah. But I would love the idea of us coming in for a couple of straight weeks.
Giving updates and stuff.
And doing like a book club with God of War.
Yeah.
That'd be really fun.
Well, okay. Here's where a lot of my hesitation was lifted. When you mentioned really playing it, it could be like 30 or 40 hours. That makes me want it more.
It's not going to be 40. I haven't heard anyone say that it's more than 30.
Like if I go deep and I want like the platinum and crazy stuff like that.
You could probably get 40. You could probably pull 40 out of this.
But even 30s,
that's I'm thinking I'm probably going to beat it in like 26, 27 hours.
Yeah. All I can say is I really want to keep playing it. That's it, period. That's all I got.
That's it.
And you'll know next week what that...
Do you want to hear my my two gripes?
Yeah, no, I do.
I got two gripes with this game so far. One, the font in the menus is so fucking small.
It's really
I can't
small.
read anything.
Really small.
I can't read anything.
And weirdly not handwritten. Like it's very obviously typed and it's supposed to be written by the boy, but it's like print.
Oh yeah, which is kind of weird. But I mean,
right?
even in the rest of the menus too. Like when it's not supposed to be written by Atreus, it's like when you go into your menus and it's describing like what this rune does.
Oh really?
Or
I didn't even notice.
Like when you come, I can't. I have to walk. I have to get off the couch and go up there and read. I have my eyesight's fine.
Yeah. That's crazy.
I can't. Alyssa has incredible eyesight. She's able to read it, so she sits there and reads the menus for me. I can't read it.
That's awesome.
So small design error. I mean, this is like I said earlier. These are nitpicks.
Yeah, 100%.
I also don't like the menus. Getting from going to your axe. Hitting X, opening up, there's like runes in there, going into the runes, selecting them, equipping them. It doesn't look good. Yeah. I get confused as to where I am. I have a hard time remembering what is where. It just is not well designed.
Gotcha.
It's not well designed. I'm like, I just now, like 5-6 hours in, I'm comfortable with it.
Oh, okay.
Because you're not constantly having to get in your menus.
Right.
It's probably every like 30 to 40 minutes you'll come across one of those characters that helps you with your stuff.
Gotcha.
And you're like, oh yeah, cool. So you go back into it and you're like, how do I, like, what runes do I have on this? Like, okay, there's the rune. Now, wait, which one do I have selected? Yeah. It's just not well laid out at all.
Yeah.
So that is the only.
That makes sense. Yeah.
All I ever want to do is play this game.
Really?
I dreamt about it last night.
Were you the little boy? And he was, like,
I was actually
coaching you
it was a lame dream. I was actually just playing the game.
Oh, really?
On my couch.
You weren't even in the game?
Yeah, I didn't remember like what it was. I just remember being like waking up. I woke up and I was like, yeah. Let's play God of War.
All right. That's a good
story. Never gets worse. It only gets better.
Yeah.
And the things before I played the game and I listened to non-spoiler impressions from like journalists who'd beaten it.
Yeah.
They kept saying something that really made me intrigued that I couldn't really understand what they meant until I played it. There are moments in this game that are so out of left field.
Yeah.
And so unexpected, both in a physical way, the way things look, and just the way the story unravels and certain story beats that come up, that seeing any of the pre-release trailers would never exemplify it all. And when you get there, you're just kind of blown away. What? This is, and then not in like a weird, like not in a bad way at all.
Yeah.
Like this, there's some really original stuff that just comes at like sideways rain, man. You're gonna be like, what the hell is going on?
Okay.
And they just come out of nowhere, and they make you want to play even more. Every time I experience something in this game, all it does is add to the foundation. I want to play more, and the next thing I want to do is try and play in quote unquote immersive mode, which I think I'm going to try.
What is that? The hard mode?
No HUD. No, not hard mode. It's not hard mode. It's just there's zero HUD at any time.
Oh.
Because like I watched this video talking about don't play with the HUD because it's almost useless.
What?
Because everything is built into the game anyways.
Yeah.
Like Atreus, by the way, is incredible in game. You get to level him up. He has combat. There's times where he'll like come up on like a little ledge and jump on the back of a Draugr and like, start stabbing him or choking him with his bow. And you can hit him then and kill him. So he like helps you out. He calls stuff out. He'll be like, behind you, Dad.
Yeah, and, I mean that happened just while I was playing. Yeah, I had a guy coming up. He's like, "Watch out behind you!" And turn around. There's a couple guys.
He's incredibly useful, which makes you like him even more because you're not like, you stupid little. It's not like an escort mission.
Stop talking.
He's not getting stuck on walls or stuck on. He doesn't glitch out. At least anytime I've climbed up a wall, he just hops on your back and you go right over the wall. Anytime you get on a chain, he's there. He's up on it. He's never a liability at any point.
Not to make a comparison again, but talking about really great AI that's never a liability.
Are you thinking about Last of Us?
Yes.
He's better.
Yeah.
Because the issue I had is that game is stealth based.
Yeah.
And she's like sprinting around in front of cover sometimes. Like that was the only thing.
Yeah, I guess I meant in combat. Yeah, in
combat she's awesome. Yeah. But he like is out of the way at all times.
That's awesome.
And it makes you like them better because you're not hating them for their
getting in the way and blocking doorways and doing stupid stuff.
So if you guys can't tell, absolutely
terrible game. Absolutely terrible.
Just
game.
trash.
Don't play it. Don't play it.
We didn't even get to do the segue in the whole conversation I wanted to have about single player games. But,
we'll have to just build it up, add to it.
Let's just say that this game is sold out on Amazon across the world.
Is that true?
Australia, there's a few European countries that can't get it on Amazon anymore because it's sold every copy that they had available.
That's true.
That's true. Every collector's edition that my local GameStop had was sold out. They had no more. So
what?
So there's your single player games are dead for you.
So it's not doing well. Yeah. They only made 40 copies of the game.
And Horizon has sold almost 10 million copies.
But where are these people playing it? You know what I mean? Like, where are they?
What do you mean?
They're being played, but why is like everyone thinks single player games are dead because no one's talking about them other than us?
Well, I think what it really comes down to. That no one ever talks about during this conversation because they talk about like multiplayer and you have games of service which keeps people on for a long time.
Right, yeah.
No one ever talks about the fact that, you know what you really need to do is if you just make the game really, 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 really well, it will sell.
Yeah.
If you make mediocre shit, multiplayer or single player, it doesn't do that well.
That's true, yeah.
And that's not always the case because like Wolfenstein and Dishonored are not they don't do that great and they're fantastic games. So it's not like a solid rule. But like it's Horizon and Bloodborne and now God of War and Witcher.
Yep.
Which sold 20 million copies, has now sold 20 million copies. They're always games these are games that are winning game of the year. You just have to like put the money and time into it and give the creators their due and leave them alone and let them do their own thing.
It's crazy.
It'll work out. So.
Yeah.
We'll get more into that next time.
Yeah, absolutely. And maybe by then I'll have more to say.
I would be so excited
wink,
if you pick
wink.
this game up.
Maybe we'll see. I don't know.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us for our pretty much exclusive God of War episode. We'll try to get to a little bit more next week, but if Mason's up picking up, maybe we'll dedicate like a specific amount of time to kind of do a little book club with you guys. Please follow along if you're playing the game. What we'll do if he does get the game is we'll do like some segments kind of like we did. We talked about the quote on our little pilot, so we went up to the point of the battle with the stranger. So please, if you've played it, don't put any spoilers in any comments, but feel free to talk about those first 40 minutes since that's what we did on the show. And I hope we will see you guys next time after we've had more of the game under our belt.
All right, guys. Later.
Later.